Teleport comes in. Nano, though, just about dead, but they're able to get Void. Chase down is still there. Flutter, though, finds shot on the other end. Here comes Architect. Does he get a spin? He does. Takes out Fade. He gets 2 off the Death Blossom. And that could be it, Doa.
Barrier coming out here from Crystal, trying to build up on that left click hold. This could do quite a bit of damage now. Thinking, who are you low? He does not have that Wraith Walk. Now with the Bionade layered in on top, they push forward. They finally managed to find the kill.
Hiding on the tertiary of the map right now. Izzyaki down as well. Shy. Little bit hero moves there, manages to use his Echo to avoid the damage from the self-destruct, and that is going to seal the deal for the Hangzhou Spark.
The Valiant need to stay glued to this. Alonron, he builds up, gets the self-destruct. It's going to be 2 self-destructs simultaneously. Legion got eliminated. Now Fate's going to be gone. Lip manages to find one. Cho Cheng going to be eliminated again, but just for a moment, and they've actually done it. They have made it happen. Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to jump into our final match of the evening. I'm Achilles, this is Avril, and we will be bringing you the action here as we get ready to jump into Hangzhou Spark versus the LA Valiant. I mean, Hangzhou, Avril, they've been looking absolutely phenomenal. They're hosting this event. They're going to be looking to take this win home for, the home crowd that is there to watch them. Valiant, though, they really need to punch above their weight in this matchup. They have yet to get that series victory. And what an upset it would be if they could do it here today.
Yeah, look, I think that's a bit of an understatement. Valiant punching up is how I would describe them in this entire region. In the Overwatch League right now, they are completely winless, one of only 3 teams that are completely winless. Beyond that as well, though, Achilles, Valiant have not won a single map in like the last 4 matches they played. They've been 3-0'd every single time. It's been a rough opening. I say opening, it's been, we're about to end June Joust here, the 2nd stage of competition, so nearly half a season gone, and Valiant's still looking for their first ever win. Hangzhou Spark started a little bit poor in May melee, but I think over the course of June Joust, they've been really impressing. Shy came in towards the end of May melee, has been the forefront of this team for the longest time. I think he's the most important player on this team currently. His hit scan play has been incredible. He can also play the Echo as well. And Hangzhou off the back of Shy, after really figuring out their roster a little bit, on the up and up, and they have the capability to actually take first place in this group, and first place in the APAC region, I should probably say, because they can go 4-0 here into this weekend at their own homestand.
Yeah, I mean, and that would be huge for them. So, dropping even a single map to the side of the Valley would be, it would hurt their chances. So it's something that they certainly want to avoid. Being able to get that 3-0, having that crowd in front of you roaring at you is going to be big for them. And, I mean, one of the things that we kind of do have to keep in mind for the side of the Valiant is that, for almost all of these players, they haven't really performed in front of a crowd, at least not one of this size. So there could be those stage jitters. So it just kind of seems like more and more the odds getting stacked up against them. But we have to see how they are going to perform here on the day. Like I said, it would be a monumental occasion if they can take in the Hangzhou Spark here. So we'll keep our eyes glued on them, as well as the arena, as we do have the fans all out in pink. I decided to throw on a pink shirt as well, just to celebrate the return of LAN here in the Overwatch League. So you can't not.
I didn't think ahead
like
of time. Also, we would have been kind of matching. I don't know if that's a bit weird. So I'll be a bit different. I'll rep some other colors. It's fine. I got a whole mix of teams here today, but obviously Hangzhou fans out in full force, as you'd expect. You've heard the Hangzhou fans definitely cheer really loudly for all the home teams so far. We nearly saw a reverse sweep in our last matchup. That was really exciting. So some decent games so far. Even our opening matchup, there was a draw, but technically you got to see 4 maps. Brilliant performance by Philadelphia. Great to see EQO back into action. But talking about this match in a little bit more detail, I want to zoom in on the fact that Valiant, despite almost being eliminated from contention of June Joust qualification, they can definitely play spoiler because, and you kind of alluded to this, even one map would be pretty devastating. One map kind of versus either Hangzhou or Philadelphia, which are both Valiant's games here, ruin potentially some chances, in the case of Philadelphia Fusion, ruins Fusion's chances of actually getting into the top 4 for qualifications in total, because Fusion are kind of, and I've been doing a little bit of maths behind the scenes to see where they need to be, but Fusion need to go 6-0. Pretty much if Fusion want to make top 4, they have to go 6-0 this weekend. There's no ifs and buts about it. Otherwise, we're looking at really weird situations where tiebreakers could really screw them. The fact that they lost in York Excelsior early in the season really messes with them as well. Valiant taking even a map versus Hangzhou Spark means Hangzhou Spark lessen their chances of taking first seed here. Maybe they'd have to settle for a second seed. Doing the maths here, if Hangzhou Spark get a 3-0 versus Valiant, removing other teams from the equation, they are instantly ahead of Shanghai because Hangzhou have already beaten Shanghai earlier in June Joust 3-0, by the way. if they take a 3-0 now and then get 0-3 by Chengdu later on in the weekend, they still win the tiebreaker versus Shanghai, and they will get a seed advantage over Shanghai, which is huge for Hangzhou. So the 3-0 today, I think, is important, at least for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, and stats aside, you throw out these numbers as much as you want, but at this point, it's like dropping a map to the Valiant is still just that's a pride hit, especially when you're playing in front of a live audience like this, for the first time in a very long time. I mean, there's, on this, I talked about the Valiant, those players not really playing in front of an audience, but I'm not actually sure about Shy. There might be a similar case for him. I'm not sure about his background in
you think he might be Shy?
LAN events, but yeah, maybe he's gonna choke up a little bit. I don't know. I think he's gonna be fine. This guy is. He's proven to be one of the best looking just players, I think, in general that we have in the APAC region. So I think he's gonna be okay if he can just kind of get over that initial hurdle, that mental hurdle, I guess.
Both teams will be there. And I look towards the veterans on both teams here. I mean, to be honest with you, it's got to be said, but Crystal's the veteran on LA Valiant. He's the guy that's been on. He used to be on the Hangzhou Spark. So there's could be a little bit of something there. We'll see. I completely forgot about that until this very moment. Hang on a second. He's playing against his ex-team on stage for his former team's homestand. There's a little bit of a little bit of stuff going on there, and that could be a special kind of match just for Crystal to try and get revenge on specifically. But yeah, he's the veteran of LA Valiant. Let's be clear about it. He's the guy that's been in the Overwatch League team in two previous teams in previous seasons. He's probably the one that should have the least, I would say, capability of kind of choking on stage or having any sort of stage jitters. Spark have a reasonable. I mean, both teams have a reasonable amount of rookies here, but I look towards Spark. I mean, you got guys like Architect. He's won the Overwatch League. He'll be fine. And you got plenty of other players like IDK, who's been on the roster for so long. And even their rookies, I think, have had a lot of experience. You look at guys like MCD, who won Gauntlet in 2019 with Element Mystic. Like, he's played in huge stages. So I actually think, even looking at the rookies for Hangzhou, they should be, for the most part, pretty good.
Yeah, like you said, a lot more veteran status. I mean, a lot of these players, have been performing for so very long in Overwatch. Going back to Apex days in that regard, and then as well as obviously just the first iterations of contenders in Korea and whatnot. So yeah, they have a lot more experience. I don't know if Crystal's going to be able to try to maybe raise the spirits or whatever and keep them all level-headed going into this, but he definitely needs to do that as the veteran presence of this roster. And if he needs to not shy away from that, he needs to not run away from that responsibility of being the leader and trying to keep things stable for them. So we'll see how it goes, but let's go ahead and take a look over at the arena. As you do see the Valiant lighting up the stage, taking to their seats now as we do get ready to jump into the game. Players will go in. Flash little peace signs, but for the most part, not going to be seeing too much interaction with the camera. Just mostly going to be Mulanron, who's I was wondering about that. I was like, I don't think they're going to allow him to eat on stage, but it would have been hilarious if he could.
It's good for the memes. It would be excellent for the memes, I'll tell you that much. But no food on stage this time around. I think some of the Chengdu players used to like to eat on during the matches. I think there was somebody in some of those matches that we did see. But for the Valiant here, it's kind of, I don't know if it's the right time to be talking about their chances in June Joust. I think that might be a bit dishonest. So instead, I'll just talk about the opportunity to maybe get some maps here, because it's not just the fact that they've been winless. They've actually only won one map in all the 6 games they played in the Overwatch League for 2021 so far. The only map they won is versus Chengdu in their first open match ever. Since then, they've had some draws, but they've gone 5 matches in a row without a single map of victory. That's 0-15 in terms of actual maps won. But here it is, Hangzhou Spark now, home crowd, getting rowdy. This is what they've been waiting for. They've been waiting to see their team, Hangzhou Spark's own homestand. There it is, flag bearing as well. And this is a massive roster, 12 players. Coming out in full force.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those extra long opening ceremonies while we get them out onto the stage, but it's good to see, this finally happening. This is what we were robbed of.
I missed this.
Last year. You know, due to COVID-19, we were supposed to be doing the grand tour going around Asia. You know, I was, looking at my projected flight schedule back then and seeing, a weekend in Hangzhou, then going to Chengdu, coming back to Seoul, having, maybe a week off and then going straight back into it. So it's good to see that this is finally happening. It's great to see that that Asia in general is finally getting their homestands, a little bit late, but they're finally getting it done. Maybe North America, I don't know. Hastro's throwing out some crazy stuff on Twitter, but we'll see what happens. But I'm loving that we finally do have this back. It's great to see the players, I say in person in quotations, but being able to see them walking around, interacting with fans, walking onto a physical stage rather than chilling out in front of a webcam eating a banana. The memes are great, but this is way better than all of that.
Absolutely, and for the veteran players that have been here for a while, that have played in the Blizzard Arena, this will be a familiar feeling, getting all the high fives across with all the fans as you walk through, getting on stage. I mean, this is home territory for Architect. This has been kind of, for most of these guys, it's been definitely a rough year and a bit, where you've gone from full LAN games to not, and now you're finally back, and this is what they've been waiting for. It's what the players, the fans, us, everyone. It's the moment. Gushui, obviously, he's a big name on this team. You could even say he's kind of like the face of the team at some points as well. This guy's been Hangzhou Spark from day number 1, and now looking to maybe lead this team into, a much needed 3-0 victory to get them a first seed in APAC for June Joust.
I love just the complete shift with everybody on their feet, just moving out of the seats on the left and just going over, just trying to get as close as possible to see the walkouts coming through. And now everybody drifts back over, gets sat down, and gets ready to watch the action. You see the players there up on the stage. This is going to be the starting lineup, though, for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. It's not going to be anything too shocking. They're just sticking with what has been working. It's been utter domination at the hands of a lot of these players. And, we don't touch on it too often. But if you take a look at the IBM power rankings there and then compare to what we saw when the Valiant was on, there is just nothing but enormous discrepancies across the board. I think it's basically bottomed out in almost every metric for the side of the Valiant and the Spark. Some players hovering around middle, but you've got plenty of players who are drifting up towards the top. Shy as well has just been a complete rising star. You got the nice pose there with the nice little finger gun going bang.
Yeah,
now they will take to their seats.
That's right, and League of the Flag Bearer on the left as well to lead the way. But there it is, starting 6 as you'd expected. Shy is going to be there, so is Architect, and this has been the lineup, the magical lineup for the Hangzhou Sparks that's been really getting them the victories. This has been the team that, to me, this particular stage, what was really convincing was that win over Shanghai Dragons, that 3-0. Easily, you could say, an upset over versus Shanghai Dragons, who then Shanghai came back really strong. But Hangzhou made their mark, and they're the only team currently in the entire Eastern Division that have not lost a match so far in this qualifier in June Joust. So they're 2-0 currently, and they're the only team with the capability of being 4-0. Every other team has already lost a match, and it's very likely. In fact, I would say it's extremely likely that Hangzhou probably win today versus LA Valiant. Big test will be versus Chengdu coming up later, a little bit later on. But look, I don't think that's a hot take, because Seth, I'm not even going to save that one for the game break and the little hot take segment we'll do a little bit later on. It's not hot enough. That's a pretty mild, lukewarm, I'd say even cold take.
I would scold the ever-loving hell out of you if that was your hot take. I think if you did that. I think if that was your hot take, Pringles would pull their sponsorship, because that's not them getting their money's worth. So I'm hoping that you're brewing up something a little bit spicier as we do get ready for that segment later on. But
is it just me, by the way? What, do we both not do it? Is it all up to me? I got to do 2 now?
Oh, I'll have one, but I have more faith in myself, obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course you do. You did pred that 3-2 Seoul victory. Probably no one else did, but, you probably got all the scorelines. You got the script. You got mailed the script. I don't know how you got access to that.
Sometimes my third eye opens and I'm able to just stare into the cosmos and get a read on what's going to happen. But then
my favorite was
sometimes Dragons just lose 0-3 and then I just don't know what's happening anymore. So
my favorite is when you do all your preds before you've seen any games, and then you lock it in. You don't look back on it. You don't change things after you see the games. Like, nope, that's it. And then by the end of May Melee, you're like, actually, I got pretty much a 90% hit rate. And it's like, what? I didn't even have to watch a single game. Brilliant.
It was like a 90% win rate, and then I need to go back and check what my exact pred rate was for like how many map scores I got correct, because I'm pretty sure it was well above 75%, which I think is a little bit absurd given that it was all locked in advance.
Absolutely.
But you know, I digress. I don't have to big myself up anymore here. This is all about the players and the event that we have going on, which should be starting here momentarily. Everybody is loaded up in the lobby. I think we've gotten the pomp and circumstance out of the way, and we should be jumping into the game pretty quickly here, at least figuring out which maps we're going to be starting on in just a little bit. So, nice little build-up as we get ready to go.
I can tell you that. I mean, yeah, we'll get the maps in just a second, but as we looked at the maps as well, we just saw LA Valiant do a little bit of a, you know, not quite a team huddle shout, but they did something towards the end. Maybe a bit of the old Chinese jiao to get into it, as the fans have been, you know, saying plenty of. But we've seen a distinct lack of Lucio Moira in this region so far. And I, for one, am super thankful. Map number 1 is going to be Oasis for Hangzhou Spark's opening homestand match versus the LA Valiant here. And I'm not really expecting Lucio Moira today. Not at all. I mean, looking across the maps as well, we've seen capability for double shields. Hanamura is great for double shields. Junktown, great for double shields. Hollywood's strong sniper map. You don't want to necessarily be playing, you know, Echo Reaper on that one. So I think this is another matchup today of the 3 matches that we're just going to see not Lucio Moira and not like 4 Diva Bombs every fight, which, again, I'm so thankful for.
All right, well, here we go. Oasis to kick off the series. Let's see if the home team can pick up the first map win, or if the Valiant can find an upset. This is the last meeting of these teams. It's been a little while since these guys squared off, so
Valiant's
see how they fare now.
They've gone towards a Lucio Moira. All right, you know what? Fine.
Well,
fine, Valiant. This is what we're going to do today. MCD says no, he's going to start on the Ana today, so that's going to be a little bit different. I actually think maybe Hangzhou, I mean, at this stage, you're going to need to see MCD pull out some real stops here. They don't have the same engageability. They don't have the coalescence rushes that the Valiant will have, so MCD's going to need to land some brilliant bio nades and really look for the timings here, because Wuya, as soon as it coalesces ready, they're going to go in, and there it is, MCD pops off.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just play a little bit too far forward there on MCD track, and Milanron manages to get the snipes through, takes him out of the sky. And I mean, what are you going to do when you have a Lucio Moira? You cannot receive healing when you're that far forward, so playing forward to poke is not going to work well at all. Seems like we will have a pause straight off the bat, but the first initial neutral fight is won here by the Hangzhou Spark. They got the first gap, 7% on the board. Hopefully, this is you know, something that can be taken care of rather quickly, since we do have tech staff on site there in Hangzhou to try and deal with the issues. So, in all likelihood, we should be getting back into the game here pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, back to the point about Milanron, like you cannot afford to do that. You have no one that can heal you. It's not worth it for Wuya to send a healing orb up into the sky that will heal you for like 2 seconds. So he's going to have to temper his play here a lot.
Yeah, I think the pause, I'm joking by the way, but the pause is because Milano did die, and he's like, well, I didn't get my banana, so we got to fix that issue straight away. Nope. I can't, you know, you can't be having these early deaths straight away. That's not going to be the play. It actually came from Crystal. I saw just before we did the break in the play chat. Something from Crystal. We don't know what it is yet. We'll find out in a moment, and hopefully, as you said, it will get resolved fairly quickly. But it does interest me that we nearly got a Lucio Moira mirror matchup here after I, you know, had that entire speech about saying we wouldn't get one, but, you know, there it is, we do. Inevitably, it finds its way in, you know. And it's MCD being the player that is saying, no, I'm not going to be going with the flow here. I'm going to be going against the grain. It's going to be Ana, and Ana is one of MCD's good heroes. But I actually considered Moira in the past. You know, when I covered this guy in Contenders, he played a lot of Moira to an excellent degree. So Hangzhou Spark really deciding that that's not going to be the game plan today is very interesting to me. And obviously, they will have a huge advantage in that first fight. Milan's already down 6v5 now, and that's going to cause some massive issues for the LA Valiant. And similar to what you said as well in terms of how Echoes need to be playing in this comp, a lot safer. You can't rely on getting heals from your team. Lucio Moira just doesn't heal Echo at all. Yeah, this is going to be a poor start for the LA Valiant, and what I would assume, if they could get this composition underway, it should be easier to execute than what Hangzhou Spark are running, and that should lead to, you know, more straightforward ways to play this game compared to what Hangzhou need to do.
All right, well, we're right back into the action. Seems like we got things taken care of there for Crystal. Shots continue to fly back through. Sleep Dart's going to connect on to Crystal at the moment. Give him a little bit of an ab as the beam comes in. Silver 3, anti out. That is going to be a very fast build-up. He already has the duplicate. That's insane. Gets it before the nano boost is even available. Sends the self-destruct over towards the spawn. Won't find anything because there's nobody else to kill realistically. Everybody is respawning or is, you know, still currently dead. Very fast build there from Shy. Wonderful showing so far from him.
You know what his damage per 10 last fight is? As soon as you said he got the duplicate, I was like, I have to check this damage because there's no way. He had 19,500 damage per 10 in just that previous fight. It's going down now because he's not in the middle of rolling, but that was insane. Yeah. Shy just completely output everything. MCD lands a Fire Net as well, so really impacting the effectiveness of the Coalescence despite it being fast from the mid.
Getting that shut down early onto Silver 3, making sure that he can't get that Primal Rage online. Nano Boost is going to be used. This goes over onto Architect. You can see D-Matrix coming up, trying to block out the majority of this here. Almost has the Death Blossom online. If they can get Shocheng out of that mech, it would be absolutely huge for the Milan run. Trying to get back onto solid ground, but Gushue is just completely gatekeeping him right now. Shoves him off the side time and time again, but he does have the jetpack to try and survive. Goes up the self-destruct, won't be able to find anything. Now goes back into that Echo form. Shy, yeah, gets the break here. It's taken out by Shocheng. Good self-destruct, and they managed to follow up with the kill. Wuya coming up with that one. Silver 3 with the Primal of his own in the back line. Trying to get the corner shot, trying to cleave them down. Will end up falling, but so does Gushue. So both teams going to be without their Winstons here for the moment. And it is going to be the Valiant occupying the point for the time being. Seems like Hangzhou Spark, they make the call to go ahead, pull back, just concede this for now, and then win the next fight to try to close it out.
Shy actually copied a Lucio there. I think that must have been a very, kind of a desperate duplication, because otherwise he wouldn't have gone towards it. IDK MCD in a lot of trouble here, so an Architect is going to go off with that Death Blossom. So 99, and it is a bit of a cap from the LA Valiant, but this will go back the other way pretty quickly. Wuya is coalescing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, just trying to zip out of here, but they pursue forward. They get rid of the bar. That's going to be one of the big delay tactics. And now you have the Wrecking Ball coming in from Silver 3. Takes a ton of damage, though, on the entry. Does get finished off. Shy, perfect position to go ahead and beam him down. And that will be the cleanup. So good disengage from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Then they come back into the next fight, close it out. Only 23% gained for the side of the Valiant. It's a very good look at the moment here for the home squad.
Absolutely. And the only reason LA Valiant won that single fight to get the 20-something% is because, on top of Shy going towards a duplicate for Lucio, again, probably as a panic button there, IDK dropping the sound barrier didn't actually hit Gushue or Shy, so that definitely put things to a bit of a weird spot. This will be a replay from the last fight as well, where Architect found a really good situation, dropping the Death Blossom. Crystal had his own, but was covered by Bernard the entire time, so not really finding value there for the LA Valiant, and that's despite the Coalescence. And now you're starting to see Hangzhou Spark playing this composition. I don't know if I'm ready to call it a counter comp yet, but you're starting to understand what MCD's role really is here, and the fact that Bionates can do a great job of counteracting the Coalescence advantage that we otherwise didn't have. And now both teams are moving away from. Both teams are saying, get rid of the Moira, we don't need it.
Yeah, well, they tried it first round, did not work out. See how they fare here on guard, and Bionate out onto high B as Gushue starts pushing forward, looking to zap away. Doesn't receive a Bionate as well as Architect, so back up for the moment, stay safe. To cap the point. Valiant are pressing in, they're tiptoeing their way in onto the point. So keeping things contested for the now. The Wraith Walk is already going to be forced out. Gushue pushing forward, looking to try to get that punish. Doesn't manage to find too much. Bernard taking up in the front, getting lower and lower, trying to hold on to that mech. I think Bionate might have been used onto him to keep him topped up, but they do manage to retain it. Hangzhou Spark yet again find that first cap. Oh yeah, getting jumped on. Throws on the Bionate. Gets the nano out onto Silver 3 to try to keep him alive. But Milan run now going to be picked off. Shocheng knocked out of the mech, and this is just going to be a one fight for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. So ult invested and no return on it.
This is where Shy is outpacing Milan Run by a lot as well. You can see that Milan Run is not really getting the same resources anyway. Previously, when we've seen LA Valiant, it's Wuya dropping every single nano into Milan Run, but during those games, if you remember, I've also mentioned that Silver 3 is not getting enough support as a Winston, and he's been kind of like this building brick of the team that falls apart very easily. Oh, it is going to out-duel Shy here, which is a very important kill. That's going to give LA Valiant maybe the opportunity to get in here, especially with Valley nearly being available. Double support ultimates from Hangzhou, though. They should be able to hold on with those.
Oh, the sleep dart, though, is going to be huge. Trying to delay, make sure he cannot get that self-destruct online, try to flip this point. Really good play there by MCD. Speaking of self-destructs, Bernard going to be using his own. IDK popping that sound barrier does help allow for Bernard to get back into the mech as well. Milanran goes up the side of the mech. No, okay, he's still in there. Not quite sure what happened there. Either way, Bernard shredded out of the mech, gets finished off by the remake from Shocheng. Nicely done. That's going to be, what, the third remake kill that we've seen today. After the double that we spotted there in that last series. Follow up, they get the cleanup coming through as both DPS members on the side of the Hangzhou Spark have fallen. Gushui's death, that will be the flip coming in. So do establish control before the Hangzhou Spark get to 99%. So already improvements here compared to University. We'll see now what the Spark puts together to try to retake this. There is about to be a nano available for the Valiant.
Really close hold coming from Valiant as well. They look like they maybe want to just nano from this position. Give it up. Give it back over towards the Hangzhou Spark. Double DPS ultimates available here. Previous fight as well. IDK dropped the sound barrier. I think maybe just a tad bit early. And MCD had a nano to Gushui mid-primal where maybe not getting the full value out of that nano boost at the end of the day. Nano coming through into Milanran now. So it's been, you know, the dichotomy of LA Valiant where put the resources to Milanran, maybe sometimes Silver 3, but definitely Milanran for now.
Yeah. Got that nano boost, just trying to build up for the next duplicate. Shy goes in with his. Going to be a slow build towards that self-destruct, but finally gets it online, sends it indoors, splitting the team up. Great walk there from Crystal will keep him alive. Shy just going to be remeching, but will lose out on that duplicate for now. Guishui tries to survive. It's the Primal Rage rolling for a little bit longer. Both tanks getting chewed up, falling quite low at the moment here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, who desperately need to stabilize. Architect is looking for an opening, goes up top. Death Blossom is there. He's looking for Milanran, the duplicate. He's going to come out. He goes for the Ana. Crystal will fall to the self-destruct. Now Shocheng going to be gone. And Milanran, he just, you know, he doesn't have anybody to heal. Now he has nobody to nano boost if he can get it online. He's just going to be jumping off the side this time of his own volition. And Hangzhou Spark back in control, getting ready to surpass 90%.
It's wild to me that MCD doesn't even need to use his nano, by the way, and the oh my god there's like Silver 3 gets nearly melted again. Silver 3's been receiving a lot of hurt. MCD has landed multiple sleep darts at the start of most of the fights. Really putting the pressure on Silver 3. He probably will have a nano, or rather a primal this time. Could get the nano as well. Might just go into Milanran again. LA Valiant really need as much as they can though.
Yeah, it's out on the Crystal. He wants to go with the Death Blossom. Wraith walk back to try and stay safe. Now is going to be TPing in, but the sleep dart cuts him off. MCD's been absolutely huge. Guishui taking a nap, but Hangzhou Spark, they still have the man advantage. Now the Valiant goes out, manages to catch up on the two. Hype being one of them. He will fall. Architect just pushing forward, shoving back the opponents, and Guishui will Goomba stomp the ever-loving hell out of Crystal. Takes him down, and that is the first map going the way of the Hangzhou Spark. 2-0 to start things off here on Oasis.
Exactly what Hangzhou want in their first homestand match, and pretty happy with that one. MCD played out of his mind for sure, and really kind of proving the value of Ana in this meta to the point where Ouya's given up on the Moira as well, and LA Valiant are thinking, you know, maybe this Lucian Moira comp isn't for us after all. The fact that you have a team, I would say somewhat forced or choosing to swap away from that, it's a huge deal when that's been kind of the prevalent composition. You look at any NA match, kind of popularized by the Dallas Fuel and, you know, San Francisco Shock also playing the Lucian Moira, but that's like the composition in NA. And we started off by seeing a little bit of it, and to my dismay, and now, you know, instantly MCD is just become the hero and saying, we're not going to get into that today. We don't need to. It doesn't have to be Moira in this game. And the Ana pick has been solid. He's just putting so much effort into destroying Silver 3, wrecking LA Valiant, putting in big bar nades, and multiple sleeps as well. Absolutely, I think the player to look out for, at least from that first map.
Yeah, I mean, looking like an early front runner potentially for player of the match, but obviously plenty more to be played here. But we'll see if he can maintain this level of play. It's been a really good from him thus far, and you know, it's always good to see him in the league. You know, it was a long time coming, and he's been popping off, so it's a good performance from him. We'll see more of MCD and the rest of the Hangzhou Spark in just a little bit, but first we have to go to a quick little break, so do not go anywhere. Map 2 is coming up in just a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back, guys. We're just one map into our final series of the evening, the first day of our Hangzhou weekend homestand event that is happening live in China right now. We're obviously not there. We're, casting from the comfort of our homes, respectively in Australia and Korea. But maybe one day, maybe soon, we can be back and be casting things live. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But for now, this is as good as it's going to get for us, and it's good to see. It's a great-looking event, and it's looking very good so far for the Hangzhou Spark, who have started off their series with a 2-0 win on Oasis, so they get to draw first blood in front of their home crowd and see if they can move up to match point, or if the Valiant can reply with a win of their own as we get ready to go to Hanamura.
Absolutely, and I think the Hangzhou team fans will be excited to see their team finally in person. First ever Chinese homestand as well, because all the homestands previously were all based out of North America. So
first one in Asia.
Yeah, it's incredible. And finally, I think the Asian fans get something for their home market, which is fantastic. And to have their team come out with an opening map win, feeling dominant. Again, likely to go for 3-0 today. Anything less than 3-0 is going to impact their ability to get first seed. So that's kind of the implications of what can happen here. So Valiant, we're not in the discussion of talking about whether Valiant is going to be winning matches this weekend. For me, it's about whether they can pull up some upsets just by getting map wins. And because of the 16 kind of map, 16 match, 4-match kind of format per stage, yeah, the maps do count for the tiebreakers, because 3 and 1 is the scoreline you need to guarantee yourself a spot in the top 4 here. 4 and 0 pretty much means you're the first seed, or maybe the second seed if there's another 4-0 team. 2-2, you're depending on tiebreakers, and that's going to be really relevant for teams like Philadelphia Fusion, who are at most going to get a 2-2, and they have to play against a Valiant where the upset potential could be there. For this particular team, Hangzhou are the only team capable of going 4-0, and that would require them to beat the Valiant and then the Chengdu Hunters. So there's a lot going for them there, but if they lose Chengdu, then they need the 3-0 today to make sure the score lines are good, that versus the other 3-1 teams in terms of tiebreakers, they will have a better match record, which is why today's 3-0 is very important. And so far, I mean, they're on the path to it, because that first match was very, very Hangzhou favored.
Yeah, very one-sided, very much, I want to say on the back of MCD, but it's not like he was dragging everybody across the finish line. Everybody was very much participating, but MCD especially was a bit of a standout, hence our highlighting there at the end of that map. So eyes definitely on him, like you said. Let's see what he's going to continue to bring to the table here. If it's just more of the Ana, then I'm more than happy to see it. The guy has been absolutely on point. And aside from that, I mean, Shy's Echo. What a nutty, build time on that first round on University to get that duplicate online before the Nano Boost was even available. I mean, it was like 22% on the point, and he had the dupe up. That's insane. So, Shy, he heard you talking about Leaf being the best Echo in the world, and he's coming for the title. We'll see what he can get done here, but, you never know what's going to happen. You can't really judge a performance that much when it's against a team that hasn't won a series yet, that is, expected to not win a series for the entire year.
You could be stat padding a little bit in this matchup. Let's be clear about something, and I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. There is going to be a potential of skewed kind of looks here in terms of how well you do versus Valiant, and then what's going to happen later on. Obviously, the real test for Hangzhou is going to be Chengdu later on, and you brought up Leaf, so let's talk about it. Shy versus Leaf is going to have to be a thing that happens later on for the Hangzhou Spark on their road to a potential first seed here, and for Chengdu as well, who really want to get in that top 4. They're not guaranteed. Chengdu still have a lot of work to do to make that top 4, so that's also a very important game for them. Milan Run is a player on this team that is probably one of the more talked about players in this team, whether that's the Tracer or the Echo. Obviously now it is on the Echo, and I think Milan Run's going to have to, maybe it could be from the supports or somewhere where his tank's going to make the space for him, but it's a sort of situation where you have him dying to MCD right at the top of University, and mostly being outplayed by Shy for the rest of the Oasis, outside of the one single duel where Milan Run did beat Shy, but apart from that, it was pretty much all Shy.
Yeah. Well, here we go. On the attack first are the Hangzhou Spark. Which was just kind of, the shortest little hop ever. That was a very bold sleep dart. Not going to be able to get that hit. hoping and praying that Milan Run would drift down into it. But for now, it's just going to be the poke war coming through. Cloud8 out on the silver tree. Gushway going for the entry. Gets himself up onto the mid ground here to the left side. Past the choke, grabs the mega pack just to make sure that he is topped up, but Bernard falling down to half does need to retreat here for the moment. While it's looking like they will be able to successfully hold the door, at least for now. Switching nearly losing out of the mech definitely would have been the go button, but it doesn't quite get popped out yet. Bionate on the approach, manages to find two, but Shine with a beam finds Silver 3. Quick reply comes through, however, from the side of the Valiant, taking down IDK and Shine. Softening up their numbers, and Architect, he's looking for a way out, but looks like Milan Ron should be able to hound him down to the back, and yeah, we'll get the finish. So for now, Hangzhou Spark going to be held at the choke.
Really weird timing for both teams as well. I mean, obviously we're waiting for the nanos to come out. If you're wondering why teams haven't really engaged yet, no one's committed, it's because MCD and Wuya didn't quite have the ultimates. This is going to be the fight that's really important, and I say weird timing because players started dying just as the nanos came online. I'm sure Wuya would have definitely popped the nano to Silver 3, had the opportunity and been there, but Silver 3 went down too early. It's a nano to Gushway though, and this is where the fight starts.
Alright, yeah, jumping into the back, he's going to be looking for Wuya. Doesn't want to push forward there to try to get that kill. Comes back in with the rest of the squad. Shine nearly getting knocked out of that duplicate. Does get the Primal Rage online. Deadeye's going to be forced out. He'll go down the stairwell to avoid the Cowboy. Good job. Juggling around two members. Has to pull back, but there's the follow-up. Milan Ron and Silver 3 both now going to be eliminated. Shine down low on HP. Shoots out. Doesn't get clipped by the sleep dart. It's going to be the Hangzhou Spark occupying the point. It seems like there's just not going to be any openings here for the side of the Valiant to get back in. Self-destruct off on the side of the point. Does manage to find Shine, but they do deny the remech from coming through. And Hangzhou Spark have the cap. 4 minutes, 46 seconds now in the time bank as Gushway gets to take a little bit of a nap. And Hangzhou, they're looking like they may have some pretty good snowball potential. Rally online, Primal Rage as well.
And that's huge because they didn't have to use a lot of these ultimates in that in the A cap where Valley had to really pull out the stops. You saw way more ultimates. Hybe had the rally running the entire time, and they still lost 2 players. DK gets to hold on to it. Another nano online faster than Wuya this time as well because MCD survives, gets to build it online a little bit faster. Ted looking over towards the Death Blossom and really gonna get the show started though. That's a brilliant kill.
Yeah, really well timed as well. Right as the rally starts rolling there from IDK. Shine getting eliminated. Sleep Dart will come through onto Milan Ron. Which I'm pushing forward, just keeping him protected. Primal Rage gets popped, but does get knocked out of the duplicate. Hangzhou Spark just having to wait up. Shy is rejoined, but now they need to rethink their approach.
That actually slows down Hangzhou considerably, and it forces the rally as well, which means that's one of those ultimate. The armor is going to be dissipating soon. Primal Rage is getting burnt up, and Hangzhou have lost another player at the start of the 6v6.
Yeah, he just got absolutely destroyed. Shredded there as Chris does come up with the killing blow. Now that Deadeye going to be available, can use that defensively. It's looking like a bit of a struggle here at point B for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. That rally was their big way to just, try to push through, mitigate a lot of the damage that was going to be, getting pushed onto them. They lose out on that. They lose out on Shy, and now they really have to rethink this. And Shy is trying to poke. If he can get the duplicate, then he can start to fight off by going in with the duplicate onto either Silver 3 or onto Shocheng, but he's finding it a little bit difficult to get this ready. Struck used by Bernard, doesn't find anything. Nano Boost now going to be out. Bionade on the 2 members on the side of the Valiant, but no follow-up to be seen. It's just slow pressing coming through, but as I say, that Silver 3 will fall. Architect finding that kill. Shy now goes in, gets the dupe, jumps in, looks to get rid of Shocheng. Goes out that D-Matrix, rockets into the back, has that big target, yeah. Now has the ult online. 3 kills on the board. Death Blossom goes through from Architect, doesn't find anything, but it still does work. The point's been cleared, the second tick getting ready to come through as Milan Ron is dead in the back. They swap over to the ball, but the shield bash is instantly there from IDK to stop that wrecking ball in its tracks. Self-destruct up the top, Shocheng trying to duck in behind on that high ground, does manage to safely remech. Rally rolling as Hybe is bioed out, sliver of HP remaining. Can they keep him alive because they desperately need him and that rally? IDK now going to be matching because they lose out on Bernard on the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but Gushway is there with the Primal Rage to try to buy some more time, to try to buy some more space. Nano, as you say, it is available. Can he use it?
Well,
the answer is no. They're not on the point. The wrecking ball doesn't get there in time. They're all so close. No one touched them.
I think they would have held. I think they would have held. They had Nano coming up. They just nanoed Silver 3 as well. They had started getting some decent trades in there. It was looking doable for LA Valiant. You cannot be losing the point in that type of fashion. I mean, that would have been deadly for the Hangzhou Spark as well. They would have lost more time. You know, I'm sure they maybe come back in another fight looking good, but LA Valiant have the capability to really bleed down the timer into, you know, critical areas, and that is just the worst way you could be losing the cap. I'm so surprised. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be, but LA Valiant actually, I was starting to believe they were going to make that hold happen, but they just let it go. It slipped through their fingers, and the Hangzhou Spark will get it done. Another shout out to MCD, who, you know, at the start of the fight there, double bayonet onto Wuya and Crystal, both going down, by the way. One of them going down by MCD's own hand. He lands the bayonet onto two, including Wuya, and then solo kills Wuya, who's the opposing hand on the LA Valiant. So that's a massive start for the Hangzhou Spark, but a good recovery from the LA Valiant that never really bore fruit because obviously did not contest the point, and that's an upsetting way to end their defensive portion as we now get ready for the attack.
Yeah, it was looking very good. It just kind of, you know, felt like they would have been able to pull that off, but unfortunately for the side of the Valiant, it's not on the point, which is a very important thing in Overwatch, especially on assault maps.
Just ask Shanghai.
We'll see how Hangzhou fares in staying on the point. TP up onto the high ground here for now. Looks like they will be sticking with a cement. Never mind. Okay.
No.
It took a little while to swap, but it will
Maybe
be
if it was
moving over
double,
onto the Echo.
If it was double shield, I think maybe you go towards the 7 and you TP across, and we saw Philadelphia do this strats today. But it's actually going to be kind of like a weird comp. This is like the DPS and tank core of a Lucian Warrior, but without the Lucian Warrior, they're doing a slow version, which is on the, and again a Hy-Vee going over towards the pocket versus on Milan run, but they're just going to lose Crystal, right?
Okay, he just walked in and died. Sometimes it do be that way. Yeah, they're really split as we, you know, had the Echo and Mercy going off into the flank. Now they get picked off, and this is just going to be a solid start. And I'm happening to agree with you.
The reason I don't like this comp is because I don't think it has a clear goal here. Like, what are you trying to do? If you're playing Lucian Warrior, I get it. You're trying to dive, you're trying to make this fight happen, this brawl happen, which is what the team sort of did, but your supports don't line up in that regard. If you want to play that way, play their actual supports you're supposed to. Now that you have the nano available, it makes a little bit more sense. MCD's actually fairly far away, so Wuya's got to put this in pretty quickly. He needs to, because the time is going to run out. If he doesn't do this soon, MCD's going to catch up.
All right, and it was down the Silver 3, but Crystal is going to be dead. Now the Sleep Dart comes in from MCD, gets the shutdown. Just making sure that they can't find too much value. Cannot build up towards that Primal Rage. Shocheng going to be knocked out of the mech. The rest does come through, but Hy-Vee gets punished for it. Gushwei finding the kill. Shy, duplicate, just goes ahead, gets the remake off. He's pushing forward here. They escort Bernard to try to get this pistol kill to get it back into the mech, and yeah, there we go. He's just going to be able to find it naturally. Gushwei falling low, but does manage to escape. Doesn't have to use the Primal defensively to get out. And this is a very brutal start to the attack. Half of the time already going to be gone out of the time bank. Silver 3, he's not even at the choke point, and he's down to half HP. This is just absolutely brutal.
I mean, they're using cooldowns just to kind of get to the choke. Like you said, they can't even get out of the choke. Here we go. Straight away, Milan going over towards the D.Va. Could this be the opening? They don't have a lot of ults, though.
Oh, dear. Well, Milan moving forward. He's looking for Shy. Architect going to be taking a little bit of a nap on the side. Does hold on to that Death Blossom. They throw out the ante onto him, but they cannot get the kill. He goes into the Wraith form, and now has Rally Armor to back him up. Wuya's gone, as is the duplicate. As Gushwei pops the Primal Rage, just causing so much chaos. Crystal trying to TP up, but you're in the middle of a fight. Of course you're not going to get the TP off. He just dies in the middle of the air. Silver 3's Primal will expire. There's a minute and 15 seconds left on the clock as they're just getting farmed outside the spawn room.
It looks funny, but I don't mind it because he probably knows he's dead anyway. It's likely he doesn't have Wraith form, so what is the only answer left? It's like, well, I could just TP or I can stand here and die, so he'll go for the TP, and if Shy doesn't have the focusing beam, then maybe he lives for a couple seconds longer, but he knew his fate. The bigger problem was that Wuya died at the start. There was no res from Hy-Vee, so no nano played at all, and now there's far too many ultimates available for the Hangzhou Spark to really be in trouble here. Crystal's on 1 HP, Silver 3 can't do anything, and the time's just been completely bled down. They have very little to work with in the battle.
Yeah, I mean, even if they get the cap, they're just not going to have that much to try to make their way into B, and they're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at point A just to get this cap. Gushwei, he has split the team in half. He's in the back on top of the supports right now. Hy-Vee just meleeing and trying to keep everybody topped up, but Crystal's gone. Silver 3 is dead. Shocheng now out of the fight. Doesn't get to use the self-destruct. Primal Rage comes in. Hy-Vee's just going to get cleaved down, and this is just absolutely brutal. Okay, yeah, you slept him. That's great. You don't have death by monkey. You have death by giant mech. Milanron finding one at the back end is the only thing to try to spare the blushes right now on the side of the Valiant, but otherwise, it's just been an absolute slaughter.
There's nothing left here, really. Rio's gone over towards the Moira. Last opportunity to contest. Silver 3 onto a ball. Overtime has been initiated, and there's just no kills. In fact, all the kills are on Hangzhou's side, and the LA Valiant, can they even get a duplicate here? Milanron might be able to try and save the day, but he would have to go large.
Shocheng does get the remake. It's the only tank at the moment. Yeah, he does go over to the Brig. Needs to get that rally online if they want to have any hope here. So Architect is still just holding onto the Death Blossom, and as I say that, he pulls the trigger on it, goes forward, manages to find Hybe. He does have that rally. Will not get to use it, it would seem. Taking Vault trying to buy a little bit of time. Self-destruct out, does manage to find Milanron. It's going to be the remake coming through, and the cleanup is there. The Hangzhou Spark making it look easy. Absolutely rip the Valiant to shreds.
Here for a good time, not a long time, I think is everybody in this particular match. If you're a Hangzhou Spark fan and you waited for this game, well, yeah, it's got to be swift. It's going to be swift. I hope this for the fans in person. I hope their signing session goes well. I hope the extra fan activities are excellent, because the actual match itself is a brutal, so far 2-0, likely to be a 3-0 soon. Smile on Architect's face. He knows he dominated. Crystal, I think, only got one actual Death Blossom in there, and it didn't really go anywhere. Not entirely his fault, but his entire team just couldn't quite get the job done, and that's a bit of an understatement. And now I look back in the entire B point situation where they didn't touch, they didn't quite extend, they kind of, well, let's just say it, they kind of C9'd that one. It doesn't even matter anymore, because they didn't even get past A, so who cares about B? And that's just how this match is right now. Hangzhou Spark are clearly outskilling the LA Valiant, probably to no one's surprise.
Yep. I don't know. That's it. I don't have anything else to say on the back end of that
You
one.
agree.
It's just,
I think
it's just absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, we're going to go to a quick break. Map 3, maybe the end of the series. I don't know. Coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, and we are back, getting ready to jump into what it seems like will be the last map in this series. Don't want to sugarcoat. Let's call a spade a spade. It is an absolute and utter stomp at the hands of the Hangzhou Spark in front of their home crowd. The Valiant is seemingly not standing a chance. They have one more map to try to make the difference here to try to, upset the Hangzhou Spark's chances of nailing that 4-0 spot. But, yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty likely.
And I think, you're in front of your home crowd. You know how important 3-0 is going to be in terms of fighting for #1 seed in the standings. There's really no room to muck around here. You don't want a situation where, you're Shanghai and you somehow draw. Like, okay, they didn't lose, but a draw is even it's just a bit weird. It's like, did they really have to draw that one? You don't want to unnecessarily...
it instills doubt.
Yeah. And you don't want to do that in front of your home crowd. That's you want to come out guns blazing and play the best of what you can play and really deliver to your home crowd what they deserve and what they want to see. And I think despite it being short, and maybe that's the only complaint of the Hangzhou fans, is it's kind of short. They don't get the full value of the entertainment of the Hangzhou Spark, but what they can be quite happy with is a swift victory, and they're about to be handed that. As at this point, I mean, I want to try and give some benefit of the doubt. I want it every time we come into a match and you see it's Angeles Valiant, the question has to be asked, can they take a map here? What's the capability? I remember, even in Melee, especially early on, they looked reasonable. I think, Milano and a Tracer was a good pick for them. And perhaps this June Joust meta is just not really working for them. Not that Melee gave them any real wins, but they got a map win. They looked okay versus Fusion. Crystal had some good moments on the Watermaker and stuff like that. And I feel like now that we're looking June Joust, it's fading fast. Like LA Valiant, to me, haven't really improved since Melee, and a lot of teams have. Most notably, the Hangzhou Spark. They've made probably, I think, the biggest improvement of all teams in this entire region, and now they could be #1 seed because of it. So what a good tournament, what a good stage, and what a good home stand so far for the Hangzhou.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely wonderful for them. And I mean, it's just rough. It seems like the Valiant are handing this to them on a silver platter, a silver 3 platter.
I was gonna say, dude, you gotta drop that. I gotta put it in.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, taking a look back at the stats from that last map, and I don't like to really harp in on one person, but we've been seeing Silver 3 getting absolutely and utterly bullied in just about every series that the Valiant's played. He had more deaths than the entirety of the Hangzhou Spark did for Hanamura. It was 9 deaths for Silver 3 and 8 deaths for the Hangzhou.
Okay. I was going to say, did Hangzhou Spark really die too much at all? I would imagine. A couple people died, maybe like 3 deaths overall. But
all 3 previous
tough.
matches between these teams went all the way to map 5. Okay, we're going to map 5. The stats say it. It's always going to map 5, so clearly.
Look, man, if Chengdu can make an almost reverse sweep happen, then Silver 3 Hog is the answer we've been looking for.
I'm all about it. Okay, yeah, well, he's taking a little bit of a leap out of Gesture's book, it would seem. We'll see how he does.
Well, we saw how Gesture on the Hog on this map did. We saw how Soul on Gesture's Hog did versus Shanghai, so maybe not the book you want to be reading. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not. It's like a Stephanie Meyer's novel. Put this down. I don't want to read this. Sorry, Twilight fans. But pushing up. Gushma taking a bit of damage. And you can see, topped up fairly quickly as MCD is just trying to raise Booyah, who's always had very good nano boost build time.
It's because his team takes a lot of damage. So you are going to get that as a tactic team. Also,
True.
I think, sorry Twilight fans confuses every single Overwatch League fan out there because they're not too sure if you're talking about Twilight from San Francisco or what, but anyway.
I would never say bad things about Twilight from San Francisco.
I'm just going to leave that up there. But Nano is going to be there. And you do. The problem with this is now you don't have a main tank, you must Nano Milano. I think that has to be the target. Or save Silver. Yeah.
Well, he's trying to build up here, 61% at the moment. Duplicate and that nano boost are online, so potential combo is there. Way now onto the point. Nano's going to be used. Goes onto Milanron, holding the duplicate for now. Would love to get Bernard out of the mech and then go in, get that dupe. Shy, however, dupes Yeah, he does get the dupe out here onto the enemy Roadhog. Silver 3 goes in with the hook, pushing forward. The bubble comes in at a perfect time. He does go ahead, takes a breather, tries to sustain, but it's not going to be enough. The anti cuts off the healing. Bernard now going to be gone. Bomb into the back, not going to be able to find anything, but Shy does break the dupe there for Milanron. That's going to be a very good grab. It's going to be a defensive blossom from Architect to try to stave them off, but the Bionate is there from Wuya. Turns it around, and that will be the cap coming through for the Valiant. So a very solid start here so far. And we'll cap this with 2 minutes remaining.
Maybe this is the answer for the LA Valiant, because I'm thinking back now when we looked at LA Valiant versus Philadelphia Fusion in Melee. Part of what gave them a good series here was Shocheng on the Zarya, and the Zarya really did some cool stuff. And now Shocheng back on the Zarya, builds a grab, and that first fight absolutely wins in the fight because of the Milan. Gets some easy damage in. Can't miss those shots. Gonna get the 8 point with, I would say, a reasonable amount of time still available.
Not too bad. 4 minutes on the clock. I mean, decent stop, potential here for the side of the Spark. They've got a lot of tools at their disposal. You can just clear the cart without either the Primal Rage that Gucci is about to have or the self-destruct. For now, they're playing very far back, not really engaging into anything. And Monron pushes forward, gets the nano. Yeah, absolutely decimates Shy. Really good pickup there from him, and Bernard with the self-destruct doesn't manage to find anything at all. Nano boost will be used here onto Architect. Whole Hog going to be popped by Silver 3. Sleep Dart will connect in onto him, as well as the Bionade. So Architect feeling a little bit saucy, pushes forward, has that confidence instilled in him to try to get the kill, but he's not able to do so, at least so far.
They need this grab.
Builds up the self-destruct, yeah, pushes them back. Doesn't manage to find any kills, but that's fine. It buys some space there for the side of the Valiant, but on the back end of the fight, they reaggress, they find Hybe, and Architect up on the high ground, hounds down Milanron, didn't have that pocket healing coming through. Now the choke is going to be held here by the side of the Hangzhou Spark, and the onus is on the Valiant to try to break through yet again.
That's really rough for the Valiant as well, because Shocheng dies at 98%. They were just on the precipice of finding this grab on Surge. He's had to reset his entire energy charge. Now that really blows as a Zarya player, because that could have been the win condition. They needed to hold on for, I would say, another 3 to 5 seconds. Get some extra healing in there, throw the grab in there, find an opportunity to get some player advantage off the back of it. And LA Valiant could have pushed further. They could have won that fight. This reset's going to be costly because it's going to be hard to find the next grab now, especially, as I've said, when you don't have energy to play with, you've completely reset. You've got to positioning. Where does this even go?
Well, now on the Milanron yet again. He's looking for Bernard, maybe to try to take him out of the back. Gushwei forced into the Primal. Shy forced into a duplicate. Goes for Shocheng. It's the Zarya. He's looking for a target, but everybody is pulling back considerably. He chases in, should be able to get this grab online, but they actually defensively grab him inside. Architect off the top rope comes in, but gets shut down instantly. The Death Blossom getting almost no value. Chips away at them. Doesn't manage to find any kills. Rally now going to be rolling for IDK as he tries to survive, and Shy is putting the team on his back. Comes up with 2 kills. Rest has to be used to put Crystal back into the fight. See, he's looking for the beam. Crystal does barely manage to escape as the self-destruct pushes forward to try to zone them back even further. Milanron, antied out, will get knocked out of this dupe eventually. Says it twice, which is surprising to say the least. But Shy getting kind of caught off guard there. Spotted one on the flank, does get beamed down in the end, but it's just going to be him getting lost. And still have to wait for the Valiant to try to re-aggress, get back up to the cart.
We'll see if the reset's good enough here, because they managed to pull back, and with the kill on towards Shy as well, there's a small window for them to work with. Some ultimates are coming online in just a hot second. There was one opportunity there for LA Valiant to maybe turn the fight around. They would have to cancel IDK's rally and then push from there, but they never quite got the kill to IDK. He just barely survives. Got some healing from MCD. Has his own rally armor to boost up the health as well, and IDK survives full value of the rally, and Hangzhou will win that one. Here we go. Milan receives a nano. Needs to find some good target. He got slipped and killed instantly.
Yes, slapped him, I believe, out of the air, and the Shy was there for the alley-oop, manages to get the beam kill. Hybe gets into position, does manage to find the res, but MCD strikes him down. The bubble buys a little bit of time here, but Milanron, he's already used the boost. He can't get back up into the air, and they will just be able to pick him off. Very sad little echo there on the ground. Now Shy might be joining him, but now Crystal, there's too much pressure. He goes back in, he tries to get the kill, but there's just too many members on the side of the Spark surrounding the Reaper. He cannot confirm it. Shy will survive, will pull back, gets topped up, and now it's just 24 seconds remaining on the clock. 3 ultimates, 4 actually really are nearly going to be there for the side of the Valiant, but is it going to be good enough for them to break through and get over to point B?
Hard to find a good grab in a neutral state like this as well. The good news is Shocheng did live. He found a little bit of extra energy off the back of Crystal dying as well, so he should be charged up. That's going to give them their only real win condition. If they can get this grab down, they have the possibility, but there's like 2 seconds left to play.
Good from Bernard, knocks him off the high ground, making sure they can't contest there. Alright, starting to inch forward as Silver 3 escorts it up. Does hold on to the whole hog. They find Crystal, but the bubble comes through to keep him protected. Get the exit. She'll bash in onto Silver 3. He's falling low. Whole hog does come out, but that means that he can't take a breather. That means that he needs to rely on the heals, but it's not going to be good enough. Grab comes in. They're exchanged, but it's going to get so much more value there from Shy with the dupe. Guangzhou just cleaving people down. Manages to find both supports with the Primal Rage. The self-destruct out. Will not manage to find much there for Milanron. The cleanup comes in. And the Hangzhou Spark, despite kind of falling flat on that initial defense, do manage to hold the card about halfway through the street space.
I think LA Valley are the type of team that needs a lot of momentum behind them, because you saw the capability for them to, stay in that point A fight, get the scrav going for them, get the cap going, start pushing through the streets of B, and they had a reasonable play moving forward where I genuinely think if they find the second grab, based on how they were playing with tempo, and this, because they have payload control the entire time for the most part in that B engagement, the initial one, Hangzhou Spark have to address the payload, and when they do, that gives Shocheng the perfect grab opportunities. They can keep the momentum flowing. That's how they could have capped B, but as soon as they lose momentum and they have tempo ripped away, they have to reset. You saw how hard it was, especially to get that Zarya on board again. At that point, it might even be better for Shocheng to actually go towards D.Va. From an attacking position, you have to play so much towards the elevators. You have to try and retake high ground. You have no energy. You have no ability to get good neutral grabs off because you have to fight for position first, or you have to fight for a sort of situation where you can force enough Hangzhou players to address you on the payload that they're going to come down, because otherwise, if you try and go for payload, Guangzhou is going to come down there, he'll try and bait your grab, maybe Bernard's going to eat it as well. It's a tough situation, and LA Valiant can't really win any fights unless they get the first frag, and even when they do get the first frag, it seems like sometimes they're too slow to really get the ball rolling too, because you had Shy going down, gave LA Valiant 6v5, and the Valiant couldn't do anything with it.
I have your back.
Now on the attack, throwing out that little bit of a Hail Mary. Sleep doesn't manage to find the hit. Would have been absolutely nutty if he could. Slow
if he hits that, I'll give him the
poking advance. Yeah, just hand it over. I mean, he probably is already going to win it, just based on what we've seen, but we'll have to wait and see.
Long run.
Knocked up to the side there for just a second. Milano is well into the back. He's hoping for some heals. Finally does start receiving them right as Bernard pushes out of the cafe. He's looking to get that final blow. Would have opened things up considerably there as, Hybe, he is on the Brigitte. They do not have the mercy at the moment, so they can't bring somebody back into the fight. So losing one member could just be that point A defense falling apart.
They need Wuya's nano.
There's a lot of chip damage getting pushed down. Wuya will have that nano up first, as he always does. And will be invested. Throws it on the Silver 3, who dives into the back. Looks for the kill, but MCD has to sleep. Oh, but it's going to be a fairly rude awakening. Not necessarily for Silver 3, but never mind. They turn it around. The Bionade is there, and Architect collapses in to get the punish. And that's the kill that they were looking for. Shy now with the dupe onto the D.Va. Has the self-destruct online, and I mean, he might just be able to send this out anywhere. Yeah, just gives it a quick chuck, goes in with a pistol. And that will be the cleanup here onto point A. Very fast take, much like we saw from the side of the Valiant, but a little bit of extra time there for the Spark. 5 minutes on the clock for them, and they don't have to go very far. You can already see that pink box of victory down below.
And they also have, forward position here as well, straight onto the high ground. I mean, look how far these three are as well. And that previous fight with Silver 3 going deep is one of the perfect examples of the difference between these two teams where, look, if you're Silver 3, you don't have to go that deep. Just keep the 4 players busy and the rest of your team can win the, 5v2 on the actual point itself. So it doesn't need to be that way. Ultimates are available for the LA Valiant. Malaran has a D.Va bomb. And right now, it's... Can this slice away? No.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't have the clearance to actually make it over towards the choke. As they managed to shove him back. It was really good boop there to make sure that he couldn't get that. Self-destruct now going to be going up here for Shocheng, looking for a pick. It lands on the roof, doesn't manage to find anything. Silver 3 down to 192 HP as the Primal does expire. Pulls back, hasn't received any healing yet, needs to get top back up. As he presses back in, he's got to just go ahead and jump out of there. He does have the nano available. Should he want to go ahead and reaggress, but they have to burn it onto somebody else. It's going to be onto Crystal here. Pops the Death Blossom, managed to find IDK. They will knock Bernard out of the mech. Find Guangzhou as well, so good value coming through there as Shy has used the dupe, and he's gone for a Reaper. he's not finding much of anything.
Yeah, this is going to be a duplicate where it's just going to be a little bit sad, and the one play he does try and, use his ultimate on Shou Cheng, who's a diva, who's just going to eat it up by the defensive matrix, so there's definitely going to be a bit of a sad duplicate from Shy. But a great one, great Death Blossom from Crystal, backed up by a clutch Nano from Wuyo as well. Wuyo was being very patient with his Nano, and Crystal was on, he was getting melted and instantly back to full health, straight into a Death Blossom with a Nano boost as well, 50% extra damage, and that gives them the fight. 3 minutes more of this, and maybe Valiant can do something.
Okay, I thought for a second maybe Shai was going to get punished. There was a really aggressive push forward, but does manage to survive. The beam is there, and so he just can't get out. The leap was already used. Couldn't try to escape back over to the rest of his teammates. Does get picked off, and there's so much space blocked now from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. Architect goes in with the Blossom, finds both supports, finds Shou Cheng, and there you have it. A very nice and easy glide into the finish. And the Hangzhou Spark complete their 3-0 here, their first homestand in front of their home crowd. Making it look easy for them, and man, what a performance. What a shutdown.
Absolutely, there's just no mercy being shown at all. Hangzhou Spark came out with the goal to not just get a 3-0, I think, but get as one-sided of a 3-0 as possible. Didn't hold back whatsoever, which is what you want to see a team playing in their home crowd. This is the thing I've missed as well. You get to see the players kind of walk across the stage, get the fist bumps in there, we're COVID safe, that's how it is. But we finally have two teams on stage as well, because our previous games, we had Seoul and Philadelphia, who are currently in Korea. Now having two actual teams on stage means you do have that little bit of interaction as well, which is kind of cool. But a brutal loss for the LA Valiant, and that is now their 6th game in a row where they've been 0-3. Still winless for the season. But, we're definitely at the sort of stage where we're talking about maps now, not necessarily about matches. And for Hangzhou Spark, we're talking about a 3-0 record for the June Joust so far. So still flawless, and still definitely eyeing up the possibility of getting first seed for the June Joust in the APAC region. And the only team to have not lost a single match so far in this stage.
Yeah, it's just, we were talking about it before, but it's just an insane turnaround for the side of the Spark, just based on how things were at the very beginning of the season, and then coming into this. Just stark differences here for this squad, and it's great to see. You don't want to see a team bottom out. It's never fun. It's not fun to cast a team that is expected to lose. It's not fun to watch a match when you just feel like what the result is going to be before it has even started. And Hangzhou Spark making this kind of turnaround of the season has just been a breath of fresh air to see, and they are looking very, very dominant. So we'll have to see, potentially how they're going to perform when they go up against the North American squads, but that's a very exciting prospect. We're already teasing this, though, as we get ready to go into our player of the match. We called it from the very beginning. He had such a great start. It's MCD. Who else could it have been? I mean, there's a lot of great plays from everybody here on the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but MCD was absolutely the standout from the very beginning. And
it's the kind of thing where, versus a team like the LA Valiant, you can have a lot of players pop off, and like we've said earlier, maybe get a little bit of stat padding in there, but some of what MCD was doing was, it's just good Overwatch. No matter who your opponent is, some of those shots are not easy to get. The consistency of landing, all his skill shots, timings for everything beautiful. Credit to his team as well, when very clear example to me of just excellent protection in terms of how MCD was getting so much work done is when Silver 3 received the Nano onto Hollywood and proceeds to chase MCD, nearly gets the kill. MCD gets perfect pocketing from his team, good peels, even gets the health pack as well. No one steals if he lands on that, and they get the punish, and they get a perfect sort of situation where they keep one of the important players on the team alive. And just across the board, I mean, the amount of solo kills he gets on players like Wuyo as well, just wild. And that's what I was saying during this Hanamura attack, where he lands a double Bionit and then gets a solo kill. So this guy is really doing some impressive stuff on Ana, and especially during a meta where, his specific role is being phased out for Moira, and he's currently defiantly saying, no, I'm not going to play Moira. It's about Ana. I'm going to do the Ana, and the Ana's going to work, and it did work today. It looked brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, wonderfully done. 28,000 healing done. 20 enemies slept, and 21 bionic grenade kills.
It's a lot.
Absolutely insane here from MCD. I mean, 42 eliminations as well, so just doubling his bionic kills number there. But yeah, just putting up some wonderful stats, and just, I don't know. You can just continue to sing
a fast 3-0
praises about
Remember, it's 20 enemies slept, 21 bionic grenade kills in a fast 3-0, because that's over the course of all 3 maps. Obviously, he played Ana the entire time, but to hit 20 sleeps in 3 maps is, I think, a really impressive stat. It's not just about, like, we're not talking about someone just spamming sleep off every cooldown. No, these are very specific. These are very intentioned, well-intentioned ones, where specifically they're going on to plays like Silver 3. They're going on to, you know, mostly Silver 3, let's be fair, because a lot of teams, if you can crush the enemy main tank, you will. And most teams have been putting the hurt onto Silver 3. Kind of feel bad for him because you're going to get farmed a lot if your team is not giving you the proper support. And, well, if your team isn't able to out-damage either, you're going up against Shy and Architect, who are doing a ton of damage, and then on top of that, MCD's landing all these bio-nades and sleeps, you're going to have a bad time. And I would say out of the 20 sleeps, it feels like half of them went onto one player.
Yeah, it's just a brutal performance from him. But, you know, enough about that. Now let's get into the spicy stuff. It's time for our bold predictions presented by Pringles. This is your first time doing this segment. I've only done it once before. So who knows where this is going to go? I mean, this was a very rough series overall, you know, for the side of the Valiant and whatnot. So there's, I think, a lot of hot fire takes that could be had. So what is your bold take? What's your bold prediction, Avril, for the future in the APAC region?
Yeah, this is what I'm going to go with, and this is also me kind of like rubbing the genie's lamp. This is one of my 3 wishes, is that I think the APAC meta will succeed internationally in the June Joust versus the Lucio, Moira ridiculousness of what NA is playing. I don't know. There's no way. I refuse to believe that Lucio Moira is going to be the dominant meta and it's just going to beat out APAC. It's going to beat out everything. And so that's going to be my hot take. And it's probably hot because, I mean, all the good teams in NA are playing Lucio Moira right now. They are getting some good results off the back of that. But I'm also kind of glad that 2 different regions are kind of developing their own meta. They're figuring out what works in their own sort of regions. And teams like the Spark, especially in this particular match, really saying to themselves, yeah, we're not going to play the Moira. It's about Ana. And I want to see them now take this to the international level versus the NA teams and kind of, you know, maybe show that this could be the superior comp instead.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm always happy to hear that, you know, go APAC. So we'll see. But I agree. I think that, you know, the region overall is looking significantly stronger. There are a lot of scary teams. Seoul Dynasty as well today, looking extremely good. With, you know, Fitz and Profit finally finding that incredible synergy as, you know, one of the scariest DPS duos that we now have in the league, is very, very good for the future of the APAC region. So, yeah, I'm happy to agree with you on that point. My bold take, my bold prediction is this is a little bit one of those, you know, it's one of those slow burn spices where you have it and you don't really feel it for like a little while. So
put it in a time capsule.
Yeah, I don't think that the Valiant is going to find a win this year. Now that doesn't sound
be
spicy,
specific.
right?
Map. Well, they actually got a map. You match one, right? You're talking about a match win.
I'm talking about for the rest of the year from here onward, and this is where because you're like, which one is it? And the spice comes in. I don't think they're going to win a map for the rest of the year.
A map, a whole map.
Based on what I'm saying right now, I don't see it happening.
I mean, Milan Run gets to play Tracer again next day. Just saying, we'll see. That is spicy.
Enough.
Mine is that's the thing. I think you would need another team at APAC to really crumble. Another team would have to crumble hard and be within arm's reach. Currently, no one looks within arm's reach, and that's scary.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll throw in the caveat of maybe a non-control map, just because control, you never really know what's going to happen there. And I think that was the one map that they did win.
Okay.
I'd have to double check on it.
Throw out all the rules now for it, so that when we get to the day,
I'm going to leave it at that.
Then we're clear. Alrighty.
I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that's we'll see what happens. We'll see if that comes back to bite me. I hope it does, because I don't want that to be the case. It's just the feeling that I have, and I don't like it. So we'll see what happens. You know, and that's kind of how spicy things go. You might not necessarily like the feeling that you're experiencing in that moment, but there you have it. You made the decisions that you made, and you put yourself in that place. But guys, that is going to do it for the broadcast here today. It's been wonderful to see the return of LAN here in Overwatch. It's great to see a region that has been waiting for a homestand finally get one. I mean, because this is the first time that these fans are able to experience something like this. Granted, yes, we have had World Cup stops in Shanghai and whatnot. There have been other events in China and throughout Asia for Overwatch, but not an Overwatch League homestand. So it's great to see them finally getting that experience, because not everybody can fly to Bala, not everybody can go to the homestands here in North America. So I'm glad to see that happening. Hopefully we get one in Seoul. But yeah, it's a great thing to see. We'll be back tomorrow for the second and third matches of the day. Otherwise, we'll have Vicky, Kitty, and Jaws kick off the show. So make sure you guys tune into that. Make sure you guys tune into North America. Watch all of the Overwatch League is what I'm telling you to do. You don't need to do real life things like work and family. Just watch Overwatch all the time. That's going to do it from us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game.